Hello and good morning. My name is Peter Turnbull. I'm one of the founders and owners of PriApps, and I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk to you about our solution for centralized printer and driver management. If you're not familiar with the GoToWebinar functions, you are all currently in mute mode at the moment, so you can't really ask me any questions, although I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If you see your GoToWebinar control panel, please type in any questions you may have throughout the webinar, and I shall endeavour to answer as many of them as I can at the end. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about PriApps solution for centrally managing your printers and drivers. So PriApps, if you're not familiar with it, has a number of different modules in terms of functionality. They can be deployed and used as standalone modules, or they can be used in combination for a more comprehensive solution. So the idea here is that you only choose and purchase the modules that you actually need to use, and you're not paying for things that are really kind of irrelevant to you. It allows us to deliver more modular and more appropriately priced solutions to our customers. The centralized printer management module is available as a standalone module. It can also be used in conjunction with, for example, usage tracking or rules-based printing. These are the typical functions that are used in conjunction with the driver management piece. And that's what we're really going to focus on today. Like anything that we do, we work with any maker model of printer or MFP. It doesn't really matter as long as it's network connected. We even work with a number of USB attached local devices as well. So for certain functionality, such as our embedded secure print release, we don't work with everyone on the marketplace yet, but we're getting there. But we tend to work with the majority of vendors on that front. But as far as driver management is concerned, it works with any maker model of network printer. Traditionally, we've been selling this as an on-premise solution, so therefore the software is actually installed on a computer within the customer's network. Driver management in particular is one of our solutions that can also be deployed as a cloud-based solution. So the PriApps application server doesn't need to be hosted within the network. It is hosted externally in a data center. That could be accessed via VPN, or indeed it could be accessed outside the firewall. And the way the solution actually works is that we deploy what we call a PriApps agent technology on the user's computer, and that communicates the data up through the firewall to our application server. And it initiates a transaction should we need to download things like print queues and drivers, so we're not falling foul of any security breaches within the network. So the driver management module is available as an on-premise solution, also available as a cloud-based solution. So why should we centrally manage printers and drivers? Well, if you are familiar with the ways that people do that today, a lot of the print-related problems to help desk are typically from users that can't print for one reason or other. It might be that the printer is out of paper, or the paper jam, or something like that. But equally so, they've probably got the wrong drivers and trying to print to the wrong printers. Typically, this is a bit of an involved process for the IT help desk to try and resolve their issues. They typically like to use print servers because it makes their job a bit easier, so that they can control print queues and deploy print queues easier. So typically, that's one of the functions of a print server. By essentially managing it a bit better, we can actually reduce or eliminate print servers completely. PriApps does not need to use print servers for any function that it offers, not even the secure print release function or the usage tracking. We just simply don't need print servers. Our architecture is somewhat different from some of our competitors. We're a bit more sophisticated. We come from an enterprise output management background, so our technology is way more scalable and way more appropriate to the needs of larger organizations. But equally, we can deploy in small organizations. Why else do you want to centrally manage? Well, it also gives the IT department an application that they can use that removes the need to create global group policy objects and creating scripts to deploy all sorts of drivers to all sorts of different users and computers. So it's more effective and a great tool for the IT. So the IT people love it, and the users love it as well, because there's a number of features within our solution that not only make sure that they've always got access to the correct drivers and queues that they want to print to, it also allows them to have a self-service portal that they can easily identify the printers they want to connect to and download the drivers and queues at the touch of a button. And in many cases, we can do this automatically, which is another added advantage with the PriApps solution. So, as far as we're concerned, we can easily migrate existing printer definitions, whether they be on an existing print server or whether they be configured within an LDAP, such as Active Directory or whatever. So migrating to PriApps from an existing environment is really easy. All the tools are there for you to simply select the print servers and press a button, and we'll show you that. We can create multiple profiles for different printers. So obviously, the different drivers for different operating systems and different platforms. PriApps is platform agnostic. We don't care if you're using Windows, PCs, laptops, workstations, Macs, Chromebooks, Android, iOS, Linux, Unix, AS400, or Series I, as it's now called, I believe, and even mainframe. We, as I said, we come from an enterprise output management background, so we can deal with all types of print streams from all different types of platforms. It's second nature to us. So once we've got all the definitions of the printers in our system and we've uploaded all the drivers, we create the organizational model. So this is a structure that I'll show you that basically is a location structure for your organization, and we can easily import that from an existing OU structure that many organizations already have within their IT environment. So we can automatically create that. So it's a lot faster for the administrators of the system to then, create modifications to that. You're almost up and running without having to do anything if that's what you want to use. Okay. So three simple steps. MOD, if you're familiar with that acronym. Migrate, so migrate from your existing environment, optimize your new environment, and then deploy, and then manage the ongoing moves, add changes and deletes to your environment, as we know that happens quite often. So it's not just a static environment, it continually adapts and changes to the needs of your business, and obviously in today's current climate, that's going to be something that is significantly important to many organizations. Okay, well, I've got a slide deck which I'll share with you that has lots of screenshots, but I actually prefer to get our teeth into the actual product itself. So I'm going to go into our admin user interface and show you certain functions and features about how easy it is to configure the solution. So here is our admin user interface. It's a browser-based interface, so it's accessible anywhere. So whether you've got an on-premise solution, whether you've got a cloud-based solution, it's simply logging into a web page. I'm going to log in as our administrator today, and as you can see, I've got access to a bunch of features within the software. As an admin to our system here, I'm actually running every single feature that PriApps has to offer. And that's all contained within the simple, easy to use admin interface. It's not overly complex. It's been specifically designed for navigating and containing a huge amount of powerful features in a very simplistic structure. If the customer itself is just licensing our driver management functionality, then they would only see the appropriate options for that solution. When we're installing the software on premise or when it's running in the cloud and the customer wants to update or upgrade their feature set, it's simply a matter of changing a license key or activating a token. All the software is ready to go out, all the software is already installed, and it just needs to be activated. So you don't need to physically go out there, install and update software. Everything can be done remotely anyway, but all the features are already in the customer's implementation, ready to be activated. What's important for us here is the driver management tab. So this offers all the options that we need to set up a driver management solution. First thing you do is migrate from your existing environment. As I mentioned, we can import from print servers. So we typically, scan the domain and find print servers and pull in all the data, or we can target specific print servers to, just entering the IP address. Over on the right-hand side here, we can also, alternatively, use LDAP for importing. So we have a number of options here. We've already connected to the organization's Active Directory, which is listed here. Just one we've connected to, but we can connect to multiple domains and Active Directories if that's what the customer has. And then we can identify what we're wanting to import. Here, I don't really want to import the printers because kind of already got them, or I might have got them from the print server migration. I want to put them into the organizational model. So again, if an organization or customer is running a nice Microsoft compliant or Google compliant directory structure, we can pull in that information. So they typically locate users and computers and printers in organizational units. And we can use that information to pull it in and create our organizational model. So we're going to pull in users, we're going to pull in computers in this case, and we're going to get our printers from the migration. If the customer doesn't have its printers defined in an LDAP, it doesn't have print servers, we can simply use basic spreadsheets to import the data, so you're not having to configure printers one by one within our solution. So it's very easy to get the data in here. So once we've pulled the data in, we want to configure our organizational model. And this is what an organizational model looks like. It is basically a hierarchical representation of locations within an organization. And that can be broken down, as you can see in this example, by countries. And within each country, we have cities in which we have locations or offices that have different floors. That's one example of how to use the organizational model. If you've just got a single open plan office, that could be a location in itself. You can break up, different office floors. It's fairly flexible. It's user configurable. The customer is probably best placed to decide how they want to do it. They might be doing it similarly today with their current environment. So we can replicate that and we can pull in. And here we've already pulled in some printers and some computers into locations. But also over on the right-hand side here, you can see that there are unallocated printers and unallocated computers. So these are devices that weren't tagged in a specific location, but we can simply drag and drop them over into a location to set up our initial configuration. So here, for example, we have a number of printers here that I maybe want to drag into the second floor. Okay, so you can see them moving here over into the second floor, and I want to drag across some more devices. Simply dragging them across. If I've got a lot more devices than this, some organizations have hundreds, if not thousands of printers, we can filter them down so that we can easily get a more realistic view and picture of the printers, and we can drag across multiple documents. Sorry, not documents. We can drag across multiple printers. Getting a bit excited here. Same is true for computers. So these are computers that we want to make sure are in our environment within the location. So if we look at our specific location, here's the second floor. So all these printers and all these printers are going to be available to all these computers in the environment. Okay. All things that we may want to do, which are helpful for other reasons, is we might want to add a floor plan to that location. So we can go into the properties of the location. We can either import a graphic. So as you're familiar, it's a requirement, legal requirement, to have a plan or layout of the building or of the floor for fire regulatory purposes, usually on the back of doors. You can simply take pictures of that, and we can import the pictures as location maps. Here are some that we have earlier. So we have selected our location, we save the properties here, and now we get a floor plan of that particular location, and we can decide to simply drag and drop and place the printers, MFPs, whatever, into locations on that floor plan. So once we have designed our environment, designed our organizational model, we simply deploy the PriApps agent out to all the computers. The PriApps agents then communicate back to the application server in the network or in the cloud and ask for their configuration. So all the PriApps agents and all the computers within the second floor here in Austin are going to get the configuration for these devices, and that's you. Other features of the solution are registering drivers. So the drivers that we are going to deploy need to be available on the PriApps application server. So we can, in the cloud, we do that automatically and make huge numbers of drivers available. In an on-premise solution, you would want to install the drivers onto the same computer as the PriApps application server. We can create profiles of the drivers. So here we have specific settings that we want for the drivers. We can create printer definitions. So for example, this is all the information we gather about the printers when we're interrogating them, and you can specify the drivers that you want to use for the different environments, and also kind of driver profiles. So driver profiles also allows you to set defaults. So you can use that to set a default driver for mono, for example, so that the users can actually, are only allowing to print to mono. It's a quick and easy way to implement print rules and policies within a business. Our own rules-based printing module offers way more functionality and is way more powerful if you want to do more sophisticated things and prevent people from bypassing rules and policies within their business. You can also see all the computers within our business and see where they're located. We can also separately configure locations. And you see here the properties against this particular location. You can complete the IP addresses or a range of the subnet within each specific location, and this helps us deliver another feature, which is quite interesting. So this solution is great if you expect users to stay at their desk permanently the computer's at the desk. But as we know, people tend to hot desk, people move from location to location, so the solution can accommodate that. So if you're moving from a location to a location within your business, we can configure the solution to automatically detect where you are, and it will download the correct drivers. So what the agent's doing on the computers, on the computer there, is it's just checking where it is in the network. It's basically talking back to the application server and says, hey, I'm here today. Please can you download the current configuration and any additional drivers. And that can be also set to clean up the user's desktop. So if the user has out-of-date drivers, we can get rid of them. If it has printers that have been long since deleted, moved or decommissioned, we can clear out all the configurations for things that are just old and redundant, and only have the up-to-date information on that user's printers. So we can do that automatically, or we can do that manually through scheduling the configuration updates in our settings. Okay. So that's effectively it. Once the administrators configure the organizational model and it's ready for deployment, from that point on, if you want to start moving printers from location to location, not that you would want to move one from Austin to Chicago, well, maybe somebody would. We simply do that, and then next time all the agents communicate back to the server, they find out that if you were on the second floor in Austin, you now no longer need that print driver, so it will remove that. And if you're on the first floor in Chicago, you will now get access to a new print device. And this is all done within our settings. So our settings for our agent allows you to configure the refresh intervals. So here it can be every minute, it can be every 30 minutes, or it can be longer if need be. So that's it. So as far as the user concerned, they're not seeing anything. They're not seeing any of this complexity, though that it's that complex. It's actually way more simple than managing drivers and queues on a print server. The agent just sees that they have access to different printers. But again, if you want to add printers, you move to a new location, you see a device that you want to access, and it's not possible to automatically update that. The users can do that manually through our self-service portal. So if we go in here, for example, we'll just do a quick refresh here, because I've changed a few things around. So this is the self-service portal. A user can access this through a web browser. They can navigate their way to a particular location. There's the second floor. As you can see here, that was one of the reasons why we put a floor plan in, so the user can understand that if I'm sitting in this office here, my nearest printer is sitting in that guy's office, or it's up here. So we can see physically where the printers are located. We can see all the print devices that are available to us. We can install all the printers in this location, or we can just target specific printers. So even if we don't have a floor plan, we can see all the printers at that location. We can install it. So we've accommodated that as well. Very simple, very easy to use, and that's what we're all about. Okay. So if I go back to my presentation here, as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of slides that talk you through what I've just been explaining and showing you in the demo. Very easy, very simple, and we can get up and running in no time at all. This is the example of the local agent I was talking to you about, and as you can see, it can be just check this box before you deploy it, and it will connect to a cloud-based server or an on-premise server. Okay. So what are the key benefits of PriApps centralized driver management solution? We can reduce the costs, absolutely. We can eliminate print servers. So you've heard the stories, anything between $2,000 and $5,000 a year to manage and maintain a print server. We can reduce the impact to the help desk. So if users are accessing the right printers with the right drivers, well, they're only going to phone you up when they forgot your password, or they've got a paper jam that they don't know how to deal with. Dramatically reduces IT complexity. Users do not need to be subject matter experts to install a printer. We all know how difficult and challenging some people find that. And from a help desk and IT perspective, it's a lot easier than using print servers, than using policies and scripts to deploy things. And it makes users' life happy. They're happy people. They can access more functionality than they've ever done before very easily. They just point and click, and they get access to a new feature-rich MFP with high speed and got a lot of finishing options on it, and they've generally got less printing issues. And that's it in terms of the centralized driver management solution. We have a number of other webinars on different subjects that you may want to register for through our website. And just as a heads up, before we head into this Memorial Day weekend, on Tuesday, PriApps is launching its touch-free app. As many of you probably know, we already have a mobile app that allows users to release their print jobs at any printer and log into an MFP. We were the pioneers of that technology 10 or more years ago. A lot of our competitors now were using that technology as a front end to their print management products. Now we have taken the lead and extended that functionality to copy, scan, and fax. So PriApps Touch-Free is a completely contactless, single sign-on print, copy, scan, and fax app that allows users to perform all these different workflows without having to touch the control panel of the device. In fact, the only thing they actually need to do is touch the paper. So when you're scanning or copying, you put the paper in, and when you're copying and printing, you take the paper out. So more information on that is coming your way and on Tuesday after the Memorial Day weekend. So just looking to see if there are kind of any questions. How does it work? Is one of the first questions. It works by magic. No, seriously, it's the way the solution actually works is that we deploy a little bit of technology called a PriApps agent to a user's computer. That's the only thing that needs to be within the customer's firewall. That then communicates with an application server. That application server can either be hosted outside on a cloud data center. It can be something that you as a dealer provide. It can be something that the customer provides. It's not really, PriApps itself doesn't offer a public cloud print solution. We tend to go down the line of providing you with that ability to do that for yourselves, to your customers, or allow them to do it themselves. As a lot of companies just do that themselves, find it more cost effective. So that agent technology communicates with the application server. The application server can also be hosted within the customer's firewall. So it communicates with that and pulls down all the printer configurations for that user's computer within that particular location. And it also pulls down the print queues and the print drivers. And because the print drivers are always being updated and maintained centrally, they always get the right driver for the right printer. And that's how it works. It's almost magic. Do I still need print servers? Well, you certainly don't need print servers when it comes to managing drivers and deploying printers and the like. That's all now handled by PriApps. If you're using your print servers for something else, you may still want to use print servers for managing your print queues. So the print jobs go through a print server. Yes, you can still use print servers if you're desperately attached to that, but with PriApps, you don't need print servers at all. So you can eliminate print servers, you can do direct IP printing, you can print through PriApps application server. So, and this is one of the advantages of using PriApps for secure print release. So we can hold the jobs for you at our print server, and we can release them to any printer that we're managing on the network. So, so no need whatsoever for print servers. Some of our competitors need them to operate, we don't, so get rid of them. They're evil, and it's going to save a lot of money and a lot of complexity. Okay, well, I've taken up your valuable time. Thank you very much for being with me today. This webinar was on the centralized driver management and deployment solution capabilities of PriApps. We have lots more functionality that you may or may not be aware of. Please reach out to us if you want to learn more. Please register for our future webinars. We tend to hold them every Friday around this time, and we're here. We're happy to help in the current environment. Things are challenging, but we believe we're doing more than most to help you come out of this current pandemic a lot leaner, a lot of fitter, and a lot more capable and a lot more competitive. We can offer you solutions that you can actually sell to your customers. So thank you very much. Have a good weekend, and speak to you later at some point. Cheers. Bye.